Good morning. How are you all? Glad you're here. It's Wednesday. I'm going to start attendance quickly. Work on any assignments that need hi. Work on any assignments that you need to submit. Today's the last day that I'm going to be taking assignments. I'm trying to get as many of them into the grade book as possible, as progress reports go out Friday. So working. We're all working. Give me a minute to do attendance and then we will move on. The brain project is due on Friday, but I've started mine already. I got my noodles cooked and done. See, they're all wiggly. I can move them around. I just need them all to dry so that I can glue them and mold them. Okay, so I'm doing the project with you, but it's not due until Friday. Okay, good morning, Jasmine, Alexandra, good to see you guys. um, so I'm doing the project with you. My noodles are now cooked. I am letting them dry out so that I can get ready to start molding and gluing and adding stuff to it tomorrow. And I'll show you what mine looks like on Friday, okay? So it's not due till Friday. Good question. Kimberly, you should be in Mr. Talal's class. Kimberly. All righty. Let's get started here. Okay, so last week I asked you to start looking for articles for your argumentative essay. So I'm going to go over that argumentative essay with you a little bit, what's expected in it, so that you know what you're going to be writing and what expectations are part of that essay. So here is your objective. This will be on your daily agenda, which will be in the Google Classroom for you under this week's tab, and I'll move it to each week until we get the argumentative essay finished. But this is what's expected. You need to write an argument to support claims with clear reasons and relevant evidence. You need an introduction and then to introduce the claim. You need to support the claim. You need to use words, phrases, and clauses that create cohesion and clarify the relationship among the claim. Establish and maintain a formal style, and I'll talk about style next week, the week after when we come back from Thanksgiving, because I'm not worried about style right now. All you need to be doing is writing information, finding the research that you want to go into your argument, okay? And then you need to provide that concluding statement that restates what your introduction is. Not new information, but it restates the introduction in a different way, okay? So you're getting ready to write. You need to find 2 articles, one for your claim and one against your claim. And it's all about what you know and believe about food. We've listened to, read Michael Pollan's book, The Omnivore Dilemma, parts of it. You should continue to read it, refresh yourself with it, and make sure that you understand what's going on with food from his perspective. Create your own perspective, okay? So let's take a look at this video. It talks about your claim, okay? So we're going to see how to create a claim for an argument that you are presenting. So you need to take notes.
Can you imagine a courtroom case that went like this?
Your Honor, the defendant is guilty. Why? Why? Because I said so. Well, I've heard enough. I find the defendant guilty.
No! That would never happen. You have to make your case. Well, think of writing an argumentative essay as being a lawyer in a courtroom. You make a claim.
My client is innocent, Your Honor.
And then you back it up with evidence.
He couldn't possibly have stolen his sister's bike because at the time he was in her room reading her diary.
A claim is something that can be argued. It's similar.
Okay, this is your first note. A claim is something that can be argued. Whatever it is, it's something that can be argued. So you need to write that down. And here's an example. Please write the example with the change of words.
To an opinion. Look at this sentence. Summer is a season. That's a...
Okay. Write this down. This is your example. Summer is a season, and this is a fact.
Fact. It can't be...
Okay. Please write that down as an example of a fact. Now remember, arguments are all about the words that you use, how you use your words. So if you start with a fact, summer is a season, in order to change that to a claim, it's the words you choose to change it.
Be argued, but summer is the best season is a better claim statement.
Okay, now you see they substituted a and put the best. That's subjective thinking. This gives you a claim because it's pretty much your opinion. So they changed the fact to a claim just by using a couple of words. All right, write this down. This is a claim. The first one was a fact.
Someone else could argue that and say that winter is the best season.
And then what? Do you both shake hands and agree to disagree?
Of course not. You back up your claim with supporting reasons or details.
Summer is the best because it's the warmest season and it's when we have vacation from school. I guess you're right. Summer is the best.
Now you've given reasons to support your claim.
And that's the basic idea. An argumentative essay is an essay in which you introduce a claim and support your claim with evidence. Your goal is not to inform your audience, but rather to persuade them to agree with you.
Okay, this is the basis of an argumentative essay. You need to have a claim that you introduce. You need to support your claim with evidence. Your goal is not to inform your audience. Your goal is to persuade your audience. This is why word choice words are very important. Okay? The words that you choose can make or break your argument. Please write that down. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So this is building your argumentative essay. So what is your claim going to be? Remember, we're talking about food and how food is produced, and industrial farming versus organic farming versus grass-fed farming. What do you agree with? What are you for? What are you against? Find one article for your thoughts about the farming, the food that comes out of these different farms. One article against what your thoughts are, okay? Do you agree that industrial food is the best? Why? You want to support it. Then you want to present information that's against it in order to conclude supporting it, okay? So that's your argumentative essay. If you have questions, put it in the chat, raise your hand, I will answer them for you. All right, moving on. Keeps doing that. Hi, kiddo. Huh? All right, we talked about, and I showed you some videos about foods in season. We're gonna listen to another Michael Pollan video. Take notes that you can. Remember, these will be on the slides. If you want to use it for your research, you can, because it is data-driven information. The videos will be on the slides, so you can take and click through them and pick any one that you want to use. Just remember to cite nourishlife.org as your resource. Okay, so we did eating together. We're going to do the next one. Michael Pollan from the soil. And talk about, see what he says about food from the earth.
The last thing we think about when we're eating is the soil. We really do eat from the soil, and if the soil will be healthy. And we end up, and our food ends up back in the soil. I mean, this is a nutrient cycle that we're essentially interrupting by eating from it. So that the food grows in the soil, we eat the food or the animal that ate the food, and then the waste products are composted and returned to the soil that way in a healthy system. In our system, it seldom is returned to the soil, with the result that the soil is depleted, the soil is unhealthy, and then the food that grows in that soil either needs lots of chemicals or it too becomes unhealthy. So, to be conscious of the soil and that eating is really connects you to the soil. It's a very foreign idea to most of us, but it's the basis of this engagement with nature that is eating.
Okay, very short. So we need healthy soil in order to have healthy food. I know I read one article that talked about how the land was being so depleted of nutrients that the carrots and the lettuce that grows from the soil is no longer providing the vitamins that we need for our bodies. That was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting article. Here's a different one. And we heard eating together. This one, oh, food and family.
Our eating habits have really changed. 50% of meals are eaten outside of the home, 20% in cars. If you sit down and have a meal at home with friends and family, number one, you're more likely to eat a more nutritious meal. Number two, you have far more control over what goes into that meal. On top of that, the camaraderie and the family bonding that goes into sitting down and just talking about your day over dinner in the evening. I know as a kid, my parents, dinner time was family time. That was sacred time. You can hang out with your friends all you want before or after, but dinner time was the time that we connected as a family. And there's actually now research and data to show that in terms of social outcomes, kids do better, the whole family as a family unit does better, but then those families also are more likely to be an appropriate weight.
Appropriate weight. America is the one country that is more obese than any other country. You were supposed to do that on your own. Chapter 14, read it on your own, the last part. It's like 3 pages. All right, let's go to the next one. So we've talked about food. We'll talk some more tomorrow about food. Stop that. Stop. Okay. The next slide. This is the one about the brain. Remember, you're building your own brain to present. Like I said, I've already started working with my noodles. Look at all wiggly. But I need them to dry so that I can glue them together to make the brain. I am doing this with you guys. So we'll do it together. We want to know how food affects our brain. How is food important to our brain? Okay, this is not a quick write. Well, it's kind of like a quick write, but you're doing it for Friday. All right, so let's take a look at this video. TED Talk is wonderful for getting information. All right.
If you sucked all of the moisture out of your brain and broke it down to its constituent nutritional content, what would it look like? Most of the weight of your dehydrated brain would come from fats, also known as lipids. In the remaining brain matter, you would find proteins and amino acids, traces of micronutrients, and glucose. The brain is, of course, more than just the sum of its nutritional parts, but each component does have a distinct impact on functioning, development, mood, and energy. So that post-lunch apathy or late-night alertness you might be feeling, well, that could simply be the effects of food on your brain. Of the fats in your brain, the superstars are omegas 3 and 6. These essential fatty acids, which have been linked to preventing degenerative brain conditions, must come from our diets. So eating omega-rich foods like nuts, seeds, and fatty fish is crucial to the creation and maintenance of cell membranes. And while omegas are good fats for your brain, long-term consumption of other fats, like trans and saturated fats, may compromise brain health. Meanwhile, proteins and amino acids, the building block nutrients of growth and development, manipulate how we feel and behave. Amino acids contain the precursors to neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that carry signals between neurons, affecting things like mood, sleep, attentiveness, and weight. They're one of the reasons we might feel calm after eating a large plate of pasta, or more alert after a protein-rich meal. The complex combinations of compounds in food can stimulate brain cells to release mood-altering norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin. But getting to your brain cells is tricky, and amino acids have to compete for limited access. A diet with a range of foods helps maintain a balanced combination of brain messengers and keeps your mood from getting skewed in one direction or the other. Like the other organs in our bodies, our brains also benefit from a steady supply of micronutrients. Antioxidants in fruits and vegetables strengthen the brain to fight off free radicals that destroy brain cells, enabling your brain to work well for a longer period of time. And without powerful micronutrients like the vitamins B6, B12, and folic acid, our brains would be susceptible to brain disease and mental decline. Trace amounts of the minerals iron, copper, zinc, and sodium are also fundamental to brain health and early cognitive development. In order for the brain to efficiently transform and synthesize these valuable nutrients, it needs fuel, and lots of it. While the human brain only makes up about 2% of our body weight, it uses up to 20% of our energy resources. Most of this energy comes from carbohydrates that our body digests into glucose or blood sugar. The frontal lobes are so sensitive to drops in glucose, in fact, that a change in mental function is one of the primary signals of nutrient deficiency. Assuming that we are getting glucose regularly, how does the specific type of carbohydrates we eat affect our brains? Carbs come in 3 forms: starch, sugar, and fiber. While on most nutrition labels, they are all lumped into one total carb count, the ratio of the sugar and fiber subgroups to the whole amount affect how the body and brain respond. A high glycemic food, like white bread, causes a rapid release of glucose into the blood, and then comes the dip. Blood sugar shoots down, and with it, our attention span and mood. On the other hand, oats, grains, and legumes slower glucose release, enabling a steadier level of attentiveness. For sustained brain power, opting for a varied diet of nutrient-rich foods is critical. When it comes to what you bite, chew, and swallow, your choices have a direct and long-lasting effect on the most powerful organ in your body.
Okay, now, like I said, the reason that I chose that video is because it is a TED Talk. If you look up here on the left, it's a TED Talk educational video. It has lots of data, and it's also been proven to be factual because there are scientists gathering data for that information. So you know that it's real, it's factual, and it's not something that, you know, somebody just threw together. So that is the purpose of using that information. Okay. So you can see this video on the daily agenda slides if you need to review it again. But it is going to be available. Remember, you want to look at the 5 W's and the H as you are putting together your report for Friday, along with your example of your brain, your model. Okay, so here's the information about building your brain. You can create your brain and record a short report using the 5 W's and H. Upload your image and recording to Google Classroom. Lunch. Okay. You're going to speak for 2 minutes on that video. So time yourself. 2 minutes. We need to know who, what, when, where, why, how does the food work with your brain. Okay. And all of this is due by Friday. I'm also going to do my video. You'll be able to see it, but we're going to share some of them. So please do this by Friday. Okay, when you come into class, it should already be uploaded. Any questions about that? Nope. Awesome. Okay, here's your examples again. Remember, you can do noodles. I'm using udon noodles. They're thicker. I don't know if you can see that, but see how thick they are? The spaghetti noodles were too thin. Angel hair was super, super thin, and it would take too much of it to make a brain with. So I used udon noodles.
That's disgusting.
It's a brain. Okay. You can use Play-Doh. You can make dough, which is flour and water. Just mold it together and make it so that it's not watery, and just shape it as a brain. This is made out of sandwich bread. They just shaped it into a brain and cut it in half and made a sandwich out of it. This one's a piece of fruit like watermelon. You can make a watermelon brain or a cantaloupe brain. Just cut out the edges and make ridges. Or you can make a paper brain. But we're making a brain, okay? And then record yourself talking about it. This one's gelatin. This one's Rice Krispies. Talking about the brain and food. Are there any questions about that? You can do it out of paper. You can make a paper mache brain. Take a balloon and try to shape it and put the paper strips on it. Maybe roll it a little bit to make the ridges, but you can make a brain out of paper. It's up to you, okay? And then you talk about it. I'm gonna have pieces of fruit around mine and some vegetables to show these are the good foods versus the bad foods, okay? So it's up to you how you present it, but make a recording that is 2 minutes long, okay? Questions? Concerns? I'm gonna unmute you because I need to know how you're feeling. So if you have questions, just ask me. You can unmute yourselves, but I don't want to hear any. How are you feeling about the project for Friday? Brooke, what do you think? You feel good? Excited? Awesome. Esteban and Evelyn, thank you. Anyone else? You can be as creative with it as you want. This is your project. Bianca, what do you think? Santiago, you feel confident? Nice. All right, guys. If you don't have questions, if you don't have concerns, you're feeling excited? Yay. All right. If you don't have,
Bye.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.
Au revoir.
Bye, Miss Huff.
Bye-bye. Take care. See you later.
Bye, Miss Huff.
Bye-bye. We'll see you later. Have a good afternoon. Are you guys all okay? Luis, you are doing amazing with your lessons. Yes, I will definitely, I'm still grading. Today's the last day for me, okay? I'll grade
Miss Huff,
as much as I can. Yeah,
for the I can avert, I finally understood what we have to do. I redid it like 3 times, but I reposted it too.
okay, that sounds good. I will definitely be looking at it today, okay?
Okay.
You did awesome.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye, I'll see you later. Christian, Aaron, Brooke, Mario, do you guys have any questions? Any concerns? No? All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, Luis.